Now we're gonna go for our cucumber. I also like to leave the stinky vegetables for last too, just because I do a lot of meal prep. And when you mix the chemicals from the onions with the ones from the bell peppers by using the knife on the same vegetable, they don't last nearly as long in the fridge, already pre-cut. So between cuts, you either want to wash or wipe your knife before or after you do the onions, and always remember to do your hard skins first for the longevity of the meal prep. So the cucumbers, we're gonna do a small dice. Small dice can be useful for any type of ceviches, raw dishes that you want to do. Small dices are also nice in salads. Um, and these keep really well in the fridge also. So I like to cut it in half, long way, and then I cut it in half again, short way, all 4 slices. Put one to the side, and then I just make like, we call this cut in the culinary world baton. So I make a baton cut first, which is basically a nice square like this. And then once I have that nice square, my baton cut, I go back and I do my small dice. And there's my small dice. And this is again for ceviches, any raw dishes or salads. You could also make nice like pickled chutneys and stuff like that with small dice. So I'm just gonna do it one more time just so that you guys can see, and then we'll move on to the next one. So my baton, and then my small dice. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're at home, not Ruth's Chris, right? Alrighty. So again, for my last cut, which is going to be my onions, before I change my board, I want to remove the outer skin. I don't like to touch the skin to the surface of the cutting board. So if you can, move it to a different surface and take the skin off first. That's because this has been in the soil under the ground, and whatever germs and all that stuff that's on the skin, it's gonna get right on your cutting board. So I take the skin off before I introduce it to my cutting board. And then with the onions, again, we're gonna do 2 different types of cuts. I'm gonna do a julienne cut, and I'm also gonna do a dice. So for the julienne cut, we're just doing straight down the middle and then right down the side. That's our julienne cut for our onions. And again, we're gonna put that in a separate bowl. It doesn't really matter if the ingredients mesh because we're gonna use these later on in our videos to create some of the dishes that we're using. So it's okay if it has a little bit of carrots or whatever. For the dice cut, this one is a little bit tricky because you wanna cut into the onion, but you don't wanna cut all the way through. So we're gonna leave about a 1/4 of an inch of the onion uncut. A lot of times, if you have problems with like your eyes watering while you're cutting the onions, it's always good to rinse it with cold water. That'll help stop the chemicals from getting up to your eyes, or you could just wear swim goggles. Um, but the cold water really does the trick. So for the small dice, again, you're gonna cut julienne style through the onion, nearly to the end, but not all the way through. And then you're gonna turn it back around, 1/4 turn, and you're gonna dice them. Just like that. And that's our diced onions. We would just put these to the side as well. I'm gonna have my cucumbers share a bowl just so that I can show you guys the different cuts and the different dices.